Esoteric Meme Breakdown Episode 46, The Squamuloseaning. You'll never be moss. This is a third layer meme, or a modification to the original image of a cartoon drawn by reactionary cartoonist Ben Garrison. The first modification makes the meme into a pee is stored in the balls joke, which was then modified again to be about moss and lichen. This version plays off the fact that, while often visually similar, moss and lichen are two very different things. First, mosses are plants, unlike lichen. Mosses have leaves attached to a stem, reproduce via spores, sort of like ferns, and photosynthesize. They're old, evolutionarily speaking, and lack many things that quote-unquote modern plants have, such as a sophisticated vascular system or roots. Instead, moss chooses to just take in water and sun directly from their bodies and uses rhizoids to anchor them to rocks, trees, or my neighbor's camper van. Lichen is not moss! Lichens are their own thing, or their own things, as lichens are a symbiotic relationship between fungi and algae or cyanobacteria. The fungus creates the structure of the lichen, and the algae photosynthesize, feeding the fungus, while the fungus protects the algae. Many lichens have more than one fungus and may also contain a yeast. We are learning new information about lichens still today. Much like how our ancestors thought brews were just water, hops, and some sugary thing. We now know that both brews and lichen contain some level of yeast. It was just floating around in the air. We had no idea. Now that we can safely say moss and lichen are very, very different, let's move on to these labels. For starters, lichen could also fill up at the trees pump, and moss can also grow on rocks. Cyanobacteria are an essential part of lichen. If the cyanobacteria station was closed, which it wouldn't be just because of a rock outage, that would indeed hinder lichen development. However, there are mosses that have mutual relationships with cyanobacteria, as cyanobacteria is a nitrogen fixer. Also, not to go back to the original illustration, but gas pumps also don't work during a power outage. Regardless of their biology, which truly is so vastly different, mosses being part of the kingdom of plantae, and lichens being members of the kingdoms fungi and bacilli. Moss and lichens' ecological niches overlap a great deal. They're often found in close proximity to each other, and both do photosynthesize, just in different ways. They both can grow on the ground. Squamuloseaning is verbifying the word squamulose, which is a type of lichen that has overlapping scales. So, as a verb, that means you'd be making that type of lichen out of its component parts, transitioning it from a mere fungus and cyanobacteria to a lichen. So regardless of they're different, they still do basically the same things in many of the same locations. This is just convergent evolution. So for all you bryologists, mycologists, and lichenologists who have it out for each other, just know your lives maybe aren't so different from your colleagues in different fields after all. There's enough space in the forest, the sidewalks, and my neighbor's camper van for all of us. We can all get along. The end. I'm liking what I'm seeing. I have merch now.